Trying Thunder with a 1-1 road trip last week. Tough one on the road against Hope, and then a really good effort on Saturday against Kalamazoo. What did you learn on the road last week with your guys?
It's very difficult to win on the road,
Yeah.
as we know. I was really proud of our resilience coming back on Saturday after 2 losses, and at Hope was really the first time since Capital that we were beaten. They took it to us. They scored 15 baskets after they made contact with us. So it tells you a little bit of our lack of physicality in that game. But I was really proud of the way we came back and prepared to go on the road and beat a really talented. I know the record is not great, but Kalamazoo's got 7 or 8 guys they play that can put the ball in the basket, which is kind of unique at our level. So we went on the road and we overcame some adversity there. We had a lead, lost it, had another lead, lost it, and then we're able to pull away and do the things we needed to do the last 8 to 9 minutes of the game defensively. We came together, and Marcus made some significant plays down the stretch of that game. Maurice as well, and then we got some stops when we needed to get them to get that win. So, you split on the road and just you move on to the next one. The process started all over again on Sunday.
So you won against Alma, 8-point game last time. Coming over to their place on Wednesday, what are some keys to that rematch?
Our energy and our activity. I think we've gotten away a little bit with our using our hands and talking as much as we need to talk defensively to be successful and to execute the way we need to execute. So we've been pretty comfortable with our rotation. I think that really helps the guys going into it. We got 8 guys that we're pretty consistent with, and occasionally bringing a 9th off the bench to add to that if foul trouble or something. So, but our activity level's got to be really high each and every night. Our margin for error is still very thin at each end of the floor for a lot of different reasons. But when we're active and we're talking, a lot of good things happen for us. We just run into plays because we do have some good athletes and we have some guys that I would call ball hawks that end up with the ball. But you got to be active to do those things. And the more you talk, the more into it you are, the more focused you become on what's important.
14-point over Adrian on the road, 14-point win over Adrian on the road. The Bulldogs coming into town. Can you give our viewers just an idea of what they do well and what you have to be ready for?
Well, both teams, I can tell you, both teams
Sure.
put a lot of pressure on you with the dribble. Jordan Harris and Kalanji at Adrian, Cole Cliver, Ryan Stevens, the all-time leading assist leader at Alma, and they can shoot the ball from the perimeter. So we are going to have our perimeter defense is going to be significant. And again, that activity level with our hands, challenging shots, making them not get comfortable, finding their spots on the perimeter so they can make plays in the paint. It's really kind of the same thing. The scouting report for both teams and us moving forward is we have to do a really good job containing the ball. We did not do that well at Hope and as well as with Albion down the stretch, and that's something in order to beat Adrian, whether it's at home or on the road or Alma, the same thing, is you have to be geared into stopping the ball. Like I tell the men all the time, the ball scores. The ball scores. So if we don't stop the ball, it doesn't matter what the other 4 guys are doing on the floor. So stop the ball first and then make plays out of that.
6 games left coming into the week in the regular season. Albion's sitting there at 8-0 at the top. Do you check the other scoreboard, the out-of-town scoreboard? Do you look at the standings, or are you really just focused on your team going forward?
I think with experience now, being in year 9 for me as a head coach and whatever I have going on in my life, you're just so much more concerned with your family. And in this case, it's our team.
Right.
So we're just so much concerned with how we're doing and what we have to do. It's kind of funny you ask, because we were on the bus the other day coming home from Kalamazoo, and none of us even discussed. I mean, we're almost halfway home before somebody said, hey, how'd everybody else do? Right. So it's fun to look at that stuff, but it really means nothing, because even if we were sitting here 8-0 right now, it doesn't change the job we have tomorrow night at Alma. We got to go there and find a way to get a win. So our focus is geared into how can we compete each night in and stay in that fight. And then come to the last week with only a 14-game conference season. It's shorter than most conferences in college basketball. You see a lot of 16, 18-game schedules, but with 14, your margin for error is so small. So we get to that last week and a half, then you can kind of start thinking about, well, if so-and-so beats here, or if we do this or they do that, then maybe we could end up with this seed in the tournament. But right now, we're just geared into what we got to do to be successful today at practice and prepare for the Scots.
It's another big week for Tri Men's basketball. Coach, all the best to you.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it.